Hey guys, okay, so I wanted to share somebody in our group. Susan, welcome and thanks for being here.
Hey, I'm glad to be here, you guys. It's so much fun. I'm glad to be in this group.
Okay, so you have the Art Barn. Tell us who you are, where you're at, and what you do in the world.
I do paint parties, and I do a lot of fundraisers, and I've been doing this for about 7 years. And I've lived locally and know a ton of people, so it really helped my business. But I do probably about, I don't know, a paint party or two every day, almost every day. When they cancel, I'm so happy.
So it's full time for you.
It's full time. So my husband passed away 10 years ago, and I needed something to have an income where I could still be the mom because my kids were 10 and 12.
Oh,
And
wow.
so this was perfect. And I kind of felt like God said, you know how it's like if you build it, they will come. Well, God said, you better build it because they're coming. So I'm kind of trying constantly keep up with God, like what He's giving me. I'm constantly keeping up. Yeah, I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm working hard to keep up.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. So you started this about 7 years ago and so it really has been like a godsend, I'm
Oh,
sure.
it's definitely. He has taken care of way more than our needs, for sure. For sure.
Gosh. And
Yeah.
so you're full-time paint parties and you said you do one every day.
One or two. Yeah, one or two. I
Not
do
just
block out
one
time.
people.
I know. No, and so like when you said you were packing for two parties and you don't recommend it, new people, I don't recommend it either. We're crazy. We're crazy.
Crazy.
But I have a front porch area that is like paint party headquarters with stacks of canvas for this party and stacks of canvas and these pictures over here and yeah. But you can work up to your crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like I want to share y'all. I want to share with y'all my art garage, but I'm kind of embarrassed because it is such a disaster. But I kind of feel like y'all need to see the disaster.
It's
Like,
organized chaos because people look at the pristine and they think, I can't do that. I can't do that. If you saw when I'm at the end of the school year, when I'm doing 100 kids every day, my, no, it's a disaster. There's ripped papers off of the canvas. Yeah, it's crazy.
oh my gosh. Okay, so tell people, I know they're dying. They're like, oh, this is great, but how is this awesome lady getting 100 people a day at a paint party? So tell us your secrets.
It's basically working with the schools. I have a studio here and I can seat up to 45 people. And with my house, this is my home, and I have two studios, which is a God thing as well. I did a paint party here about 5 years ago, and I said, I need to live here, and I bought the house. So it all worked out. But I worked, my son went to a school. I used to do their backdrops, their murals. When my husband died, they had me come in and do paint parties. They kind of took care of me, took me under their wing. And what happens with the school districts, it just grows exponentially. You get into one school and they talk. They're very, very community oriented and they're very competitive. So if, hey, you got this paint person, I want this paint person. So I don't market the schools, they market it for me. But to get in with the school, I would just contact the secretary at the school and get the PTA president's phone number because they're always looking for fundraisers, or because they charge more than you charge and they make money, or the end of the year they're trying to get rid of funds because they can't keep them over the next year, so they contact me to put on an event to get rid of their funds. So the PTA president is your best friend.
Awesome. I didn't even think about that, them needing to get rid of money so that they can
Yeah,
budget for the next year.
even the schools I'm busiest April to May. It's the end of the school year. The schools have allotted funds, and if they don't utilize those funds they get less funds the next year. And so they have me come in for every grade. One school has me come in for third grade one day, which is 90 kids. Then the next day I come in for another for the fourth grade, and it's 90 kids. So they're back-to-back parties. And so they have art, which they meet a criteria, and they get rid of their money.
So how much are you charging per kid?
Because I do large groups, and we've been doing this so long, the people that help me, my helpers, are well-oiled helpers. They've been working with me for a long time. So for all the schools, it's $10 per student. So if there's 100 students, it's $1,000 minus my fees, such as supplies and my helpers. And so I come away with about $600 or $700 for 2 hours worth of work. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
I'd
Yeah.
say that's still
Yeah.
a profit every party.
Yeah. Now I'm getting ready to raise it to $12 in January per student because my supplies have gone up. I've never raised my prices. I'm toying with it because I still make money at $10.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just figure it out. But with the larger numbers, I can go ahead and do it with $10.
And how much are you paying your helpers? Are you doing $10 an hour?
I pay them $20 an hour because it's a bribe. I want them to be available to me. I want them to work their butts off. I want them, they're the kind of people who are interacting with the people. They have personalities that are encouraging to the painters. That makes a difference. I mean, you can have a helper that just does background stuff and you never see them, but you need to have a relationship with the painters. It makes a big difference. If there's a kid that's struggling or somebody's having a meltdown, to have someone who's able to put their arm around them and encourage them. So yeah, my helpers are important to me. So I pay them $20 an hour.
That's awesome. And how many helpers do you have for a party of 80 to 100?
So 80 to 100, seriously, Brent and I do it together. There's 2 of us. We go in there.
Wow.
We go in there an hour and a half early. We set that thing up so fast. We just haul everything over there, set it up. The kids come in, they line up, and they're in a school environment. That's what makes the big difference. It's after school. They're still in a school environment, so they are behaved. There are teachers there as well to help monitor things, so they're behaved. And because now I start doing the pre-drawing, I'll even pre-draw 100 canvas. I just have my overhead set up and I just crank out the canvases within minutes. But it's a really good environment. And kids, when they're painting, they're quiet. They're having a great time.
Oh yeah, when you get them painting, they're busy. Their hands are,
Yeah.
And so you said after school, 2 helpers, which by the way, I taught for 10 years. And so even when I do parties of 75, like church parties of kids, man, I usually have 5 or 6 because it isn't in the school environment. So
that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that makes a huge difference.
And with the, I was gonna say something, I don't remember what it is. I'll think about it later. But anyway, when it's family paint night, because I do family paint after school as well, where it's all the families ages 2 to 100. And so I have 100 to 150 people. Then I have 2 to 3 helpers because it's different ages and they're spread out in a bigger area. Because with 100 kids in their NPR room, their cafeteria room, they're close. Like you can get 3 to 4 kids on each side of the bench. So it's not like they're spread out. So they're kind of close. With the families, with the 150, all ages, I need more help.
And they're doing all canvas all the time?
Yeah.
11 by 14?
11, 14. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you think about it, if I have 150 people, that's $1,500. So by the time I pay everything, I take away $1,000.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Yeah. That's the thing I tell people. I'm like, paint parties are such great money. Like when I did 2 in a day, I'm like, and my aunt was like, why are you doing a second one today? I'm like, I just made $1,000, over $1,000.
I know.
And I'm doing something fun. Like, why would I not?
Yes. I love it. I still love it. I'm kind of like a real artist. Like if I do something once or twice, I'm just like, okay, I did that and I don't want to do it again. Like I go to the next thing, but this is the only thing that like it sticks. I love it. I love every aspect of it. I like even the crazy marketing that I have to do. It's fun. It's like a game.
It is. That's what I tell people. I'm like, when you stop looking at it as like business, but you start looking at it as a game. Like, okay, so I'm experimenting with something that I'm going to be sharing with y'all soon. And I'm totally doing it as a game. Like I am totally thinking of it as a game and seeing if it'll be successful. And then of course, if it works, I'm going to share it all with y'all. Good. But it's so fun to think like, yeah, just try it. Like, what if it happens? And then you walk away, like you said, with $1,000 for a couple of hours work. And it's the coolest feeling to know, like, we can, it's us stopping us. We can go out and get what we want.
We have our own limitations. Seriously. We live where we're comfortable. And so we'll create problems so that we can stay in our comfortable zone. So you have to work hard to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this. Okay. So what is your biggest piece of advice for people trying to like just get their paint party business going, or maybe doing the PTO? Because is that mainly what you do, the PTO stuff?
I'm all over the place. So the PTA with the schools, are really busy around the holidays and really busy at the end of the year. And I now have schools that are having me come back 2 or 3 times during the year. They'll have me come back in February for the slow time. But what you need to know if you work with the schools during the day, because I also do, let's see, Mother's Day with the mom and kid paintings. If you do it during the day, you have to get approved by the school district, and they require a W-9. They require a contract, so they'll email you a contract, and they require $1 million policy in this area. I don't know about your areas, but $1 million insurance policy. So I just went to my insurance agent, and he hooked me up really quick. It was $500 for the year, so every year I pay $500.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. If you think about how many parties I have, like if I only had one party, just pay for it and I'd call it a day. But so I have to have that. Some of the schools originally had to have me have a TB test, and I had to get fingerprinted, but now they have all of the electronic stuff that you check in, so I don't have to do the DOJs anymore, the fingerprinting. But so when someone contacts you, they have to get approved by the district if it's during the day, and the district will contact you and ask for those information. Okay. And I just do it with a DocuSign and sign everything, fill everything out. So it's an app, and I fill everything out and just email it back to them.
Okay. Yeah. So those of y'all, if you're just starting this, so step 1 is basically contacting the secretary of the school.
Yes.
Step 2 is asking that secretary for the PTO's president, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Information to the PTO president. Come here, Blue. Right here. You can't leave. And then step 3 would be after they get the number for the PTO president,
they would contact them and use your tagline that you say, hey, I'm Susan Turley and I do paint parties, and I've worked with large groups, and I was wondering if that it would be something that would fit for your school. We can do it as a fundraiser, we can just do it as an event. Just really basic, and just get a feel for who they are. Sometimes the PTAs are in transition and they're awful. They're so awful. Sometimes you'll get a PTA that won't promote because they don't know what they're doing. And so I've had a couple of schools cancel, or I've canceled them because they only had like 20 people. But it's just because transition of PTA.
When I did a lot of schools, we did like slips of paper that we sent home, like as a flyer, bring back.
I make the schools do that. They ask me for flyers, and I'm like, I don't know what your criteria is, and I don't know what information you need on there. So I just give them an example of one that somebody already did before. So that's all they want, just a visual of what should I do? And so I just send it. Here's a generic one. This is what some other school used, and maybe you can use that. And they send them home in their backpacks. They do a blast over the phone. You know, they can do those phone messages now and call every student's parents. But if they're on their game.
Yeah, and that's part of our responsibility is to say those marketing tricks for them.
Yeah, so and most of them, if they're in the PTA, they know, but the new PTA doesn't know.
Yeah, well, and it's just like restaurants. You find some that know how to market it, and then others that, you know.
Yeah.
And
with the PTA, you'll have like the very first paint party I do with a lot of schools. Like I've never been there before. It's the very first one. They advertise the tar out of it, and they get 20 people there. And I won't cancel it. I'll go, because what happens with that 20 is they post pictures, they put their paintings up, the kids, and then they're like, oh, I didn't know that's what that was. I didn't know what that flyer meant. I didn't know. And so then the next one I have 80. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, and your price is so good. Like,
yeah.
So why wouldn't they?
I know. And yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the PTA will pay half of the student, or pay for the student, and the parents pay for themselves when they have family night. So you need to learn to suggest how it could work for them, so they can sell pizza by the slice to make, if they're trying to do a fundraiser. And that's stuff that you'll get used to as you do it. So you don't have to worry about that now, but there's different things that you do with schools, then you can suggest that to the next school.
So the schools are charging just your price, the $10, or are they charging 20 and getting 10?
Some are doing, so one school for the kids charges 20, and I take the 10, and they, like their fundraisers, they have about 70 people show up, and they make the money for their next field trip. Okay. That, and they post it as a fundraiser. So yeah, so it's just different every single school.
So many ideas.
You
got my brain spinning. I'm like,
It's so much fun. And the funnest thing is, it's crazy. I'm so busy that I don't have time to market a lot, because I've never marketed. really. I just post my pictures on Facebook, and then people tell people, and they tell two people, and so on. And so I don't call the PTA. I don't call the schools. They call each other. And it's more credible when you get into a school and that school contacts the next school. It gives you some credibility.
So, Susan, with you saying that, I just want everyone to hear this. So, she is posting pictures on, I'm sure, your personal page and your business page,
I
aren't you?
don't do it on my personal page.
You
I
don't do it
don't,
at all?
uh-uh. I
Oh,
know. I know you said to do it, but it's like the
it's
same
already.
people on my personal page are on my business page. Like all of the people I know are, yeah, so I don't do it.
So, how big's your business page?
It's just at 490 something, almost
Really?
5,000. I mean, 5,000, almost 5,000.
Oh, 5,000. I thought you said
Yeah,
4.
5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you probably have a pretty active business page then.
Yes. Yes. In
Okay.
fact, I get a lot of stuff lost in the feed, and I'm working to update my calendar on my website because I post so much stuff that
Mhm.
different events get lost in the feed. And so I send people over to my website and collect their emails. So I have a
Okay, good.
calendar of events. Yeah.
So you're
And I have
getting
a shop
email.
there.
Let me see. I'm just pulling up your page real quick so we can show them.
Yeah. I just did 26 ladies last night doing the pumpkins.
Okay, let's see. Let's share. Do you mind if I share your Facebook page?
No, not at all.
Okay, so here's her Facebook page. So she has, obviously, she is showing that she is teaching paint parties. That's a sweet picture of you.
Ah, thank you.
And she has, let's see, her events. She has some of the snowmen. Yeah, see her big pumpkin parties. Kids Art Day, #1. Yeah, so guys, it is so important that you are sharing what you're doing. It's so important. This looks great, Susan.
Look at it, it's all your stuff. I'm so glad I don't have to think about it anymore.
I know, isn't that the coolest thing when you can just like grab and go, grab and go?
I know. If there's nothing else I took away from this, it's just like, ah.
Yeah, it's so funny. I saw somebody's post this morning of like, hey, should I tweak this painting? And I'm like, why are you even making paintings up? Like we have what's selling already.
I
Like
know.
grab what's already selling.
Well,
So
an artist likes to create, but there
mhm.
comes a point where you're like, that takes too much time.
Well, in the paint party business, I mean, I always say this, profit every party. My goal is for you to make money. And so I'm like, yes, create, that's fine. Do Facebook Live, create all you want, but book a party with what we know sells.
Yes.
Like just get some
Yeah.
money coming in. And then that gets addicting where you're like, oh, well, that was fun. And
It's easy. So
yeah.
when I started, I didn't have any money. My husband had passed away. I had no money. I was working at an art studio that it was awful. I was the art director there. And so I had a single car garage that I was renting, and my landlord let me use the garage for business. And so my sons one day, okay, I booked a party, and then we cleaned out the garage. So I booked a paint party with my friends. We had 10 friends, and we gutted the garage, painted all the walls. It was ugly and disgusting. So I named my business the Art Barn because the garage was disgusting and there's no way I could sell it as something better.
Oh
So
my
it was okay
gosh.
that it was gross. So she let me paint the outside wall like look like a barn, but I had got some closet doors from a friend and made sawhorse tables. I grabbed chairs out of the thrift store in my own kitchen. Yeah, I had put drop cloths to cover up my washer and dryer. So I did,
Awesome.
and I made a profit that party. I made a profit.
From the
Yeah,
first one.
the very first one.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
where your head's at, Susan.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's so cool to see. And I love the Art Barn. I love that name. I think it's adorable.
Aw, thanks.
So cute. So, okay, so let's leave people with final thoughts. What is your final thought if you're trying to encourage somebody? What could you tell them and how they could get started?
They just need to take one step. I have I have other coaching groups, and there's a huge sense of overwhelm. And you have said it to them before, but just do one step, just one step until you figure out that step and it seems comfortable to you, and then take the next step. Don't try to do all of them at once because you'll get overwhelmed and you'll shut down and you won't do anything, nothing.
Yes, that is so true. Guys, I always try to tell y'all, like Paint Party Headquarters, we're at a year and a half in, and so there is a massive amount of information, and we
Yeah,
are doing our best to try, but you have to treat it like a library. Like you have to
right.
go in, only get what you need, and then get out. Like
Yeah.
seriously, get what you need and get out. So yeah, that's such a huge piece of advice because, you know, I mean, I shut down when somebody
Oh
tells
yeah,
me too much,
definitely.
you know? So yeah, so listening to Susan and all of her success, like you just need the first two steps. And then once you get,
Right.
you know, call the secretary, get the PTO's
Yeah.
information, and then post in the group. Crap, I got the
It's
PTO's information. What do I do now? And then we'll
it's
help
just
you.
a paint party. It's not a school. It's not the PTA. It's not the principal. I talked to all the staff, whatever. It's not any of those. It's just a paint party. It's another paint party. It just happens to be at a school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Same type thing. Same type thing. Well, I love this. I'm gonna experiment with some stuff too and see if it works with some
Yeah,
little.
do it. Do it and tell me. Let me know.
I will. Yeah, I've done a lot of schools in the past and a lot of like teacher events. Those
Hmm.
those have been really popular too.
Yeah.
So that's really great to hear. April and May is like your biggest time, and Mother's
Huge.
Day.
And it's a slow time for paint parties.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
normal paint parties, it's
Mhm.
kind of slow time, but if you hit all
Yeah.
the schools, that's great to know.
Yeah. And I work with Hobby Lobby. They order cases of canvas for me, cases and cases. And when the paint goes on sale, I pick up my coupon and I have them order the sale price of cases of paint. Like I plan ahead. Like, okay, my time's coming up. Order me 15 cases of each color. And order, so they order it and they store a lot of it for me till I can pick it up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, so if I have this on YouTube and people are in the area, where can they hire you? Which
I'm
area are
in
you in?
Cherry Valley, California, which is Southern California, close to Palm Springs, like 40 minutes north of Palm Springs or east. I don't know. I'm not that girl. So I'm in Southern California, and I do travel. I actually have done paint parties in Arkansas and Utah. I go to the beach and do paint parties. So yeah, fun.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're a girl after my own soul.
It's an
I love
adventure.
Yes, and it is a paint party adventure. And when you start
Uh-huh.
doing it like that, there's so many opportunities that open up when you
Plus,
get.
don't you feel popular? Like everybody invites you to their party?
I'm like, and they all want to give me free drinks and great food.
Food.
I'm
They
like,
feed me. They've
yes,
they've cut my grocery bill way in half.
I know. Christmas
And they're
parties.
like, we're going to throw this away. Do you want this? I'm like, I've got a 21-year-old son. Of course I want that.
Of course. Yes, I go to this party every single year. They hire me and they treat me like one of their own, and they give me a Christmas present and they
Yes.
feed me my special order. And I'm like, every year they ask me, I'm like, yes, I got invited to the Christmas party again.
I know. And you feel like family. Like eventually you feel like family with everyone.
It does. I love it. Yeah, it's good for the soul, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. It is. So there's a lot of ladies out there that just to hang out with people who are having a good time is good for their soul, for like you said.
Yeah, it's good for all of us. I know I forget all my troubles. When I'm in a paint party environment, everything
Yep.
at home or whatever is going on just goes away and I can just focus
Yeah.
on having fun. So
Even when we're having a bad day, I've had a bad day before, and in my head I'm thinking, these people are never coming back because I'm just like not feeling myself. And at the end of the party, they all hug me. I had the best time. Thank you so much. So it's
yeah,
just in here.
it is. We psych ourselves out so
Yeah.
much. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, I'm so excited. Y'all make sure to follow her on the Art Barn at
Yeah, Barn
Facebook.
Studios. Uh-huh.
And then where can they find you? Is it the artbarn.com website?
For the website, it's theartbarnstudios.com.
theartbarnstudios.com. So if you're
Uh-huh.
seeing this and you want to hire her, or those of y'all that are watching in Paint Party headquarters, this is
You're
something
so
fun to
sweet.
do.
Or
And
I know some girls are in the area. Maybe we can meet for lunch.
yes, anybody in the
Yes.
area, y'all have got to start doing meetups. I think it is
I
so
know.
much
I
fun.
don't have time right now. Okay, I don't have time right now, but later after January, I'd love to go to lunch with you.
I was gonna say none of us got time. You can come to a paint
Nope.
party and help.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And everybody, if you like these, let us know in the comments what your favorite takeaway was. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Heidi.